We're going to move on to our blondie up here on the panel today. Again, another multi-hyphenate, blogger, designer, tastemaker, southerner from Texas.
Yeah.
Damsel and Dior, put your hands together. Yeah.
Wait, I want to snap this.
You want to snap which part?
She snaps her whole life.
This is hello.
I should have said
on Snapchat.
I should have said one of the most popular Snapchatters
I want you guys
out there.
to go effing crazy. Let's hear how excited you are to be here. Go!
Go! Oh my gosh.
Thank you. This made me look that much cooler.
I left out one hyphenate, and that is that Jacey's one of my best friends in the world, but I've lost her lately to this thing called Snapchat. And I'm like, hello, knock, knock. I mean,
But I'm
hello,
sorry, Kat.
can we have a conversation? You know. But you're good at it, girl, so keep it going. Okay, so
Sadler.
we should start from the beginning because you do have a blog that everyone loves, of a digital brand. You have worked with so many different clients from Levi's to Nordstrom, the list goes on. And you've done it in a really quick amount of time. You've done it in a short amount of time. So tell people how you got started, because I will just say for Jacey, we met when we worked, both of us, at E.
That's
and
very nice
she
of you
was
to say that. I was her assistant.
she was an executive
We worked
assistant.
together.
She'd just come from Texas, and I was like, this girl walks in the door every day slaying it with her outfits. And I was like, every day, or like, who dresses like that? Like, you know, you're in a newsroom, you throw on shorts, a t-shirt, whatever, but Jacey would come in like she owned the place. And I was like, wow, she did head to toe every single
Thank
day.
you.
But that wasn't that long ago. So tell the people how you went from, you'd moved to Hollywood and why, and how you got from the E! Newsroom to where you are today.
Yes, well, I did look forward to dressing up for work every day, which is what kind of got me into this. But I actually went to DePaul University here in Chicago. And yeah, I studied journalism. Out of college, I worked for WGN, Oprah Winfrey for a little bit, NBC, wrote a couple articles for the Associated Press. Was really into the whole, like, I'm gonna be a journalist and go to like the war and report from the sidelines. But it just wasn't really checking all my boxes every day. Going into the office wasn't really, I just wasn't passionate enough about it. I didn't love waking up going to work every day. And that was a little bit of a red flag. I moved out to Los Angeles after living in Chicago for 6 years. I actually went out there to visit a friend from college, and the weather was so nice, I just stayed. It was amazing weather there. And I got the job at E! Shortly after, which is when I met Catt. And going into work every day, like Catt was saying, I was more looking forward to dressing up for work. I mean, to be honest with you. And I would find myself hanging out with the stylist and getting her ready. That was just so fun for me. So I started my blog just kind of as a hobby while I was working there. And this was back when like Who What Wear became a really big deal. Fashion Toast was like, oh my God, there's a blogger named Rumi Neely, and blogs were kind of this new thing. It wasn't something that I ever thought would end up being a career path for me in a million years. I just started it as a hobby when I was working full time. And I left E! After I think a year and a half working there. I was like, maybe I'll try working in the film industry, because for some reason, like the whole journalism thing just wasn't working, and the entertainment journalism, I was trying different types of journalism, industry reporting, production, XXX. I know what I don't want to do, so let's try to figure out what I want to do. And in between jobs, I totally was like geeking out every day to building myself this career website where I was like, instead of just emailing people a PDF of my resume, how about I build a website? Because I'm a huge nerd. And I'll put my resume, my writing samples, and links to everything. And I just really, really got into that. And I sent it out to all my friends to like say, hey, like, do you guys have any jobs? Do you know any jobs? Hey, here's my site. And they were like, wow, this is really great. Will you build one for me? And I have a photography business. Would you build one for me? And so I started building these websites like as a side gig to kind of keep me afloat during my unemployment stint. And by learning how to use Photoshop and do graphic design and build these websites, my blog became that much better. I didn't really realize it at the time, but I was kind of teaching myself how to blog in a way, aside from like the photography side. And so yeah, the blog kind of just slowly started to get more and more readers. Actually, I can totally get into like how and why that happens, but one day Levi's wanted to put me in one of their ad campaigns because of a friend of mine. She was like, well, you've got this great blog and they're looking for, you know, just like a wholesome girl to be in one of their ads. Like, and I told them about you, would you be interested? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'd be interested in being that. And that's kind of the first time that I was like, wow, this could actually work.
You could pay the bills.
I could actually get paid to do this. It felt like wrong to take money from them because I was like, I'll do it for free. This is awesome. And then that brought in a whole new slew of readership, and then it just slowly started to grow and grow and grow. And then after like a couple of months, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna go for it and just see what I can do with this. I'll give myself a year, and I'm just gonna really just own it. And like, this is what I'm doing, and tell everybody. And like, my blog is Damsel in Dior. Hear me fucking roar. Sorry. Hear me roar. I did so good. I cuss a lot. I was like really trying not to cuss.
Exhibit A, her Snapchat. Follow her. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's bad. Beep. Anyway, it just took off, and here I am 3.5 years later.
Okay, well, a lot has happened, though, in those 3.5 years, because Jacey travels the whole world, and she's at every fashion week, Paris, Milan, New York, whatever. And it is much more than a blog, because especially for some of the younger folks out here that are just getting started, I mean, that's one term or way to define what you do, but it is such a layered, complicated business. I mean, people have agents today, people have managers who are bloggers, they're represented at CA, you know, it's become such a business, a machine, and a very lucrative one. But before you can get to all of that, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think part of what has contributed to your success is that your aesthetic is so clear. Like, that's what I think is so great about your blog, is that your pictures, your graphics, everything is just, it's a very well defined. It's like, I look at your website and I'm like, she knows who she is. And I think for people who are creating that today, that's pretty good advice.
Thanks.
So how do you come to that? Because I think, you know what I mean? Because there are a lot of, you know, I remember in your early days of blogging, people are like, well, so-and-so's copying me, and then we copy her, and everybody copies everybody.
Everybody copies everybody.
But to have a very individualized, defined offering for whatever your audience is, how did you decide who that was going to be, and then how did you create that?
Well, first of all, that is exceptionally flattering. Thank you for saying that, because I don't think of myself that way. Thank you. I think that I just, it's funny, like, even to hear that. I'm like, really? Is it really that way? I think that you just really, really have to just trust, as Corey was saying, your gut. I mean, there's been a lot of trial and error along the way, and my readers have been incredible in keeping me in check. Sometimes I'll do something and they're like, no, that's not working. Like, those sandals are not happening. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I knew putting them on my feet that they were not the right sandals for this outfit, or whatever it is. You know? So it's like petty stuff, but there's much bigger, more serious things too. But all along the way, and the way I grew my readership and the way that I grew my brand, I'm a very firm believer in consistency. I think that no matter what you do in life, no matter if you're posting to Instagram or Snapchat or anything that you're doing, consistency is key. You know, you can post once a week so long as you're posting on the same day, same time, same type of content, same filter, same type of photos, same type of outfits. And
see,
people
you say that
will
like
know.
it's like duh, but people may not know that. I think that's great advice.
I'm cross-eyed listening to this.
I mean, say that again, because
Consistency
like, that's
is
ingrained in
key.
you now, but like, people
Yes.
don't realize that. So wait, you post at the same time, same filter, like
Everything is the same. And when I steer off from doing that, it doesn't work. I'm telling you, like, I was just in New York a couple weeks ago, and I was just like, oh my God, that building's so pretty, and oh my God, this and that. And I was Instagramming everything that I loved, and I looked at my feed as a whole, and that kind of looked a little off. My Instagram should be white backgrounds, very white, very bright, very white right now. It's like my very white. I'm not like racist, but it's white. It is white. No, it's very summer. You know, I picked a theme for the summer, and it'll go in a different direction for the fall. But when you do that, it keeps you kind of in check too when you're making decisions, because there's so, I mean, those flowers are gorgeous, right? And this table is beautiful, and I really want to, but that won't go on my wall. It's gorgeous as it is, and it kind of helps you feed out the others. I mean, there's a lot.
But why is that? I mean, because you think readers, viewers, whatever, they just don't associate that with you, so therefore they're turned off?
No, I think that people in general in life, they want familiarity, and they want to know what they're getting when they go to a certain place. Like, I know what I'm getting when I go to Portillo's. It's cheese fries. You know, like, it's definitely the cheese fries and the hot dog, and there's comfort in that.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, so like, if people want, you know, to read an article about the incredible, prolific metaphors about hats, they'll go to the Man Repeller, you know, and like, you know what I mean? Or like, if they want to read hate, they'll go to Gomi.
And that's all about defining your brand. It's knowing your brand, defining it.
Yeah, so people know your brand just as well as you do.
And speaking of the people, none of us would exist without the people watching, reading, clicking, all of that. You talked a little bit about, you know, the reaction and the noise that your followers make on your feeds and whatnot. So how important is engagement? How important is it to connect with your followers, your fans, and all that? And does that actually like quantify like your success in a way? Because can you measure that, and is it important?
It is of utmost importance to me. It is, I think, one of the larger reasons why my blog did grow at an accelerated pace compared to most. I'm very, very engaged with my readers. At the beginning, I would read them all, but I would literally comment back to every comment, every single one. If somebody asks me a question, I answer it. I mean, I read them all, so I can't imagine reading something and somebody being like, who makes your shirt? Or like, hey, I'm going to a wedding, and can I wear this? I can't imagine just not answering. It's like somebody, you know, being like, hey, Jacey, and I'm just like, no. Like, I can't imagine that, and they're everything to me. I mean, if it weren't for my readers, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So like, I owe them everything. Every trip I take, every collaboration I do is with them in mind. If a brand reaches out to me, and you know, no matter what the brand is and no matter what the dollar amount is, I ask myself, like, is this something I would genuinely do, and is this going to be helpful for the readers? Are they going to be interested in this? It's everything. Without them, I don't have a blog. You know.
You also made, I think, tell me if I'm misspeaking, but I think a distinct decision to not engage with a manager or slash
Yeah,
agent?
I don't have I work with agents every now and then, but I'm one of the only bloggers, I would say, that I know of that doesn't have management representation or an agent, which is very hard.
And why did you do that?
It's been tough, honestly. I've considered signing with every agency under the sun. And my schedule and the collaborations and tracking everything, I mean, wear so many different hats at once that sometimes my head wants to explode. And I have a huge head. It would be bad. And big blood everywhere. And no one knows my brand better than I do. And honestly, like, I would, at the end of the day, if I didn't get something or if something wasn't done, I don't want to blame anybody other than myself. You know, like, I know I will give it my all, and I just don't really trust anybody else with my little baby, you know? And I really like working hand on hand with the brands. I like meeting with them. I like coming up with like a cool creative idea, and I also like doing collaborations that not everybody else is doing, and being kind of lumped in with like, these are all the bloggers that this management company represents. I kind of try to stand on my own a little bit more.
How do you do that though? I mean, because I imagine a lot of the brands come to you, but are you saying that then because you don't have a manager or agent, you must kind of curate a lot of these relationships on your own? You pick up the phone, do you like reach out?
Oh my gosh,
What advice would you give people that are here today in garnering those relationships?
In the very beginning, it was a lot of cold emails and a lot of cold calls. And a lot of hustling. I mean, it still is. Now it's more about just maintaining those relationships. Every time I go to New York, I'm meetings and you know, remembering people's birthdays, and you'd be surprised what the power of a handwritten note has. A lot of people in our industry don't remember that. A nice little thank you note goes a very, very long way. And so
how many thank you notes or how many handwritten notes would you say you write in a year?
In a year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I can think of 3 personally of myself. I'm bad, but
let's see. I probably write about at least a dozen a month. At least a dozen. Every meeting I take, I write a thank you note. Yeah. Hell yeah. Wow.
Do you guys?
Good.
That's
Get
good.
that thick paper stock.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's busy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Busy.
I do that on planes, or if I'm like at coffee. Yeah, I like to write. I like to write thank you notes, or birthday cards, or if somebody does something really nice, I'll send them a gift.
So you really invest in those relationships. It's not just like a business one-off. You keep it going.
Listen, I mean, this is my livelihood, so yeah. I mean, if I have a relationship with Nordstrom, they're my top advertiser on the site. and a lot of my readers love Nordstrom. He doesn't love Nordstrom. So yeah, they're like family, you know, like I see them a lot. I probably see them more than I see my husband. At this
Who's been calling?
I'm like, honey, I'm busy. Poor guy.
No more trips for you. No more trips for you.
I know.
Okay,
Bless
the
his
other
heart.
thing I think people, especially the bloggers or up-and-coming bloggers that are here today, and most people tend to have a website on some level, is because we touched on the shade and the haters and the trolls and whatnot. It is a very competitive culture, the digital age, what everybody's doing here today. How do you combat that? How do you deal with that? Do you Jay-Z it like this? Do you how do you put that into your world? And because everyone deals with it differently.
Yeah, you know, I am like really, really competitive. I'm so competitive. But I am not competitive in this industry. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I wake up every day and I'm so into what I'm doing. It's kind of narcissistic, but I'm so focused on my job that it doesn't allow any more space in my mind to even bother with whatever other people are doing. Even when I go and I check in on my friends, I do this about once every 2 months. I'll go and I'll read other people's blogs. I try to not because I don't want to copy them, and I will. You know, I'll be like, oh my God, that's cute, and then the next thing I know, I'm wearing the exact same thing. But I think if you're focused on what you're doing, if you're focused on your passion, that you really won't feel a competitive urge, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm competitive with myself, you know? I'm just really focused on my business, that it doesn't really allow any more mental capacity. If you're waking up every day and you're feeling competitive, then you need to turn that inward and figure out like why and like work harder, because you shouldn't have that access. Like just rid of it, or go running, you know. Yeah, marathon.
You've had your blog then since what year?
2011.
Okay, so
12, 13, 14, 15, 4 years.
4 or 5 years.
4 years this year, September 2011.
If you could tomorrow wake up and hit a total reset button and clear everything and start over, what would you do differently?
I wouldn't do anything differently. No, I'd probably, to be completely honest, and I hate even saying this, but I'd probably think a little bit longer about the name.
Ooh. Breaking news! This is breaking news. Get the AP reporters in here. What does that mean?
But I hate to say that because I know the name is catchy and it's a lot of the reason why it's caught on, and yeah, and people remember it, but you know.
See, that's being honest.
It's
that's
also,
good.
yeah, I'm being completely honest, and there's been a couple times where brands will use it as a bit of a crutch, or Vogue is like, we don't want to put you in the magazine because of the brand Dior, we don't want to, you know, hurt their feeling, whatever. But like, Dior invited me to their show, it's fine, they like me. Like, come on, Vogue. But you know, and I can't trademark the name. But I have a very close working relationship with my lawyer, and everything that I've been able to do, everything that I've wanted to do, I've been able to do. So it really hasn't hindered me too much, but I probably would have given it just a little bit more thought. I mean, I never in a million years dreamed that I'd be sitting here talking about trademarking my blog name. So, I mean, I don't have that many regrets, to be honest.
If it wasn't Damsel and Dior, what would it be?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll find out one day.
Okay, last question for you before we move on, and that is just, I was just thinking of what a glamorous life you do lead these days, and I see these stinking pictures from Bahamas and all over the world, and I'm like, oh, so not fair. Of all of the experiences you've had so far that, you know, your journey has taken you to, what was the Oprah aha moment where you were like, whoa, pinch me out of body, I did it, or I've done it, or I'm doing it, and this moment is something I'll always remember?
I've had a couple of those little moments. And they're so weird moments. They're not, I mean, they're very superficial, so it feels kind of funny saying them. It's not like, I hit this amount of money, or, you know, they're not like, anyway. One of them was being photographed by Bill Cunningham. I was like, holy crap, like, he likes my outfit, this is cool. I don't know why, I just had that moment in that, and walking into New York Fashion Week, and there's so, I mean, you've seen New York Fashion Week, there's so many people, and they're dressed amazingly well, and like, he saw something in me, which is cool. Walking into the Dior Fashion Week show at Paris Fashion Week last year was definitely a moment for me. I was just like, wow, this is incredible. And like, Anna Wintour's like right there, looking amazing. But more recently, I think a big aha moment has been, and I actually haven't told anybody this yet. Sarah, I'm giving it to you first. I'm doing a capsule clothing collection that's coming out in November with Splendid, which is something I have always wanted to do. I've been dreaming this up for years. My dad's a cotton farmer, so it's going to be a cotton line, and I can't believe I get to do it. It's awesome. It's fun.
I saw the lookbook and it's pretty good.
I'm
Beautiful.
excited
So cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, Catt.
Thank you for being honest and sharing Damsel.
Yes.
Hey guys, thanks for watching and so glad that you're here. You could just take a moment and subscribe to our channel. You can do it by clicking here, over here, over here, or wherever that subscribe button is. Just click it. You'll get everything directly sent to you, first to know of all things Simply Stylist. Thank you so much, and if you don't, this dog is coming after you.